I thought I would share another story from Dookie, Suki, and Big Mo. We're almost at the end of the book. This chapter is entitled Dookie's Big Surprise. I wonder what it could be. Are you ready to find out with me? I already know. Dookie's Big Surprise. When school was out in the afternoon, Dookie went over to the laundry to wait for Big Mo. In her hand she carried some papers. She knew he would be very proud of them, for she had worked carefully on them. Nita had given her a little star to stick on one of them because it was the best Dookie had ever done. Risa was holding Suki when Dookie entered the laundry. The mission lady was talking to Risa in low tones. She paused to say, "Dookie, the doctor wants to see Big Mo as soon as he comes. How would you like to stay here and visit with Risa? I'm sure she would like to see your papers. She's interested in the things you do, and you can spend the time singing some of your new songs and getting acquainted with Suki's play mother," the lady who took care of Suki. "I would like that very much," said Dookie, shyly, as she looked into Risa's face. There was a pleasant smile on the lips of the Indian nurse as she held out her hand to Dookie and drew her close. "We will have a wonderful visit," she said, as the mission lady left to find Mo. The man was coming up the walk, so the mission lady called to him, and together they went to the hospital to see the doctor. Mo made inquiries about the lost boy, and he was glad to learn that the little fellow had been found. "Would you like to see him?" she asked. When Mo nodded, they went to the room. "He's just a baby," said Mo as he stood by the bed, "and he is so thin." "Yes," she said, "it is pitiful. So many of the people in the hills are brought to us in this condition. Often it is too late for us to do anything for them, as it was for the child's parents." Mali stirred, whimpered, and then opened his eyes. He looked around and then up at Mo. He held up his tiny little arms and said, "Mama, rice." Mo looked questioningly at the mission lady. "Could I hold him for a minute? He thinks I'm his mother." "It might be a good idea," she said. "I doubt if he will have many hours in which to receive loving and tenderness such as you can give him." Then she explained to Mo about his condition. The doctor had given him magic water in the veins, but there was so much wrong with him, and the medicines must be given with caution. One medicine might work against another to cause more difficulty, and the reaction might be fatal. Mo could not quite understand. He took it for granted that the doctor had magic needles for all diseases. Then he remembered that it was only the God in heaven who could give life and healing. "Hold him close to your heart while I pray," said the mission lady. After the prayer, Mo held the hot little body close to him. The child was so quiet. Mo placed him on the bed, limp and still. His eyes were closed. He isn't dead, is he?" whispered Mo. "No, but he's very weak. It is doubtful if he will live through the night. We will trust God to do what is best, for we have done all we can." The doctor came in to talk to Mo. "Would you be willing to help me try to save the life of this child?" "Me?" asked Mo. "I would not know what to do, but I would do anything to help him." "Thank you, my brother. He needs healthy blood in his veins. I could make a test to see if the blood types match, and then I could give him some of your blood, which would give him strength. Would you be willing to try?" "Of course," said Mo. I will do anything you say. After the blood typing was completed, it was found that Mo's blood was the kind needed. The mission lady sterilized instruments and again prayer was offered. The mission lady and Sue Marie helped with the transfusion. It didn't hurt as much as Mo had expected. The doctor explained to the man that there was life in the blood he was giving to the sick child. After the transfusion was over, Mo was washing at the lavatory in the next room when someone handed him a fresh towel. He looked up and saw one of the nurses. "Thank you," said Mo, burying his face in the towel. "I am the one who cares for your baby Suki," she said, introducing herself. "You have two very sweet daughters." "Thank you," he said. "I think so too. I love them with all my heart." "You have done well. You have been a good father to them." "Thank you," repeated Mo, still hidden behind the towel. "I have done my best. I want them to grow up to be respected. The mission school will help them, and I am grateful for it." "I am grateful too," said the nurse. "Grateful to you for your kindness. I have been visiting with Dookie, and she has told me many things. She said you wanted to find Risa, the child's own mother, in order that you might help her become a Christian. For 6 years I have kept my promise to you that I would not see the child. But now that I am a Christian, I come to ask you to release me from that promise so that I might tell her I am her mother, Risa." Big Mo drew the towel from his face and looked into the woman's eyes. They were sad eyes, just as Dookie had. She looked different now that she was a Christian. Her uniform, the way she wore her hair, he would never have known her. The same Risa? Mo could hardly believe it. "I have not told Dookie," she said, "but how I have wanted to take her to my heart ever since you brought her here with a snake bite. I kept my promise to you. We are both Christians now, and we no longer fear the curses of the charm doctors or the spirits." "Come," said Mo. "What are we waiting for? Let's go and tell her right now. It will make her so happy." The mission lady was waiting in the laundry for Risa's return. There was so much to talk about, and Dookie certainly did her share. Instead of going home for supper, they went to the dining hall where they sat at a little table. "Just the four of us," as Dookie expressed it. The girl's eyes sparkled as she looked at her mother. And here's a picture. Ever since Dookie was first brought to the hospital, Risa had wanted to take the girl to her heart. After 6 years, the happy moment came. Isn't that sweet? And I think we have just one more chapter. Then we finish the book.